Hey there, gamers. Welcome back to Ben of Souls Cryptic Gaming here. I hope you've been having a wonderful week. So, playing New World Aeternum. Man, I am truly loving this game. Don't want to give you too many of the spoilers. I was mentioning some things in Discord the other day, and, Treats reminded me, hey, man, don't give spoilers. Not everybody's at your level. So, appreciate it, Treats. I get excited with these games, but I think you're going to really dig the storyline. You may be sitting there going, well, this isn't making a whole lot of sense at the moment what's going on, but once you realize what we're doing here, I think you're going to really dig this storyline. So I wanted to talk about specking characters. Now, one of the great things I'm loving about this game so far is the ability to respec for free. Now, you may be wondering, what does he talk about respecking? I'm talking about your basic character builds. So, as you know, we have been using the Ice Gauntlet and, of course, the Fire Staff. And then we switched up to the Fire Staff and the Great Axe. Well, now we've switched from the Fire Staff over to the Sword and Shield. Why did I do that? Well, as I'm progressing in the game, I'm seeing that there's certain things I want to be able to do, certain types of battles I want to be able to participate in, and you just got to kind of find your fighting style. So what I'm doing now is I went from basically a mage build to more of a DPS tank, which is not as tanky as some tanks, but it still does pretty good. So we're going to look at what that's looking like so far. So we do have this fire starter mastery here. We leveled out our level 20 fire starter, which is cool. You know, like I said, we're going to continue to bring the rest of these up. Okay. So we respect. It is free to respect until you hit level 60. You can continue to respec and find a build that best works for you. Each character type that you start with is going to have certain types of attributes, whether that be like a little bit of a dexterity or, focus or abilities, such as the one that I'm using, which is the Fire Staff Mage. I actually have the ability to do cut gems pretty quick, so that's pretty nice to have that ability, and as well as a few other abilities in there as well. So the gem cutting is definitely key on some things as far as getting your weapons and your armor up to par. But right now I'm focusing mostly on strength. And then, of course, Constitution. We've got a little bit of points we've added to Constitution. We didn't add a whole lot of points ourselves. A lot of this was already here because of the character build. But as you can see, the blue, that's being done by armors and weapon types. The strength, again, that's about halfway filled up probably with what we've added point-wise. And then all this blue, this is from our armor. I'm going to show you what that looks like in here, guys. So when you come into your weapons types and stuff, so here's our Fire Staff. Legendary Fire Staff. It's not epic, but we're getting there. I went ahead and pulled off of it, and I'm just kind of messing around with the Glacial Longsword right now. I opened it last night. It's a 440. It's not purple, but hey, it's nice to judge out, see if I'm going to really enjoy this or not. I'm liking it pretty good. Then, of course, we have the hatchet. I'm going to give it a try, too, so I want to try it out. Our guild leader, he uses a hatchet on one of his builds, and he's really spoke highly of it, so I want to give it a try and see what's up with it. But when it comes to I don't know if you can see this. If not, you're probably going to have to get closer to the screen, guys. If you're like me, my eyes have kind of gone as I've gotten older. You see this, it says 20, it does a plus 20 on Constitution. That means it gives health. So we could put this all on strength and just have one really strong DPS character, but what I was running into is my character wasn't very healthy as far as he could take a lot of hits in heavy combat, so I wanted to rein that in a little bit on some DPS going out and tank him up a little bit. So we put Constitution on the helmet. We've got strength on our Marauder Blessed Plate. Then on our gauntlets, we put strength on there, and you do that with glyphs that you get from your faction commander, where you go and pick up your missions and all that. You can pick up glyphs. They're not, I think they cost 9 gems, so it's pretty easy stuff. 20 Constitution, so again, we're adding health with those. This one here, we're adding 20 strength. I haven't added a purple shield yet. Mainly I like this shield, but I'll probably end up switching over to a purple shield just so I could get the gem slot as well. Anything typically blue or higher, you're going to get that gem slot on it. So then, of course, on our shields and our swords and stuff, this in here is 21 extra strength on it. It came built like that. You can build these swords However, you won't do a lot of great types of specs when you go over to your forge of what you need. It tells you what you need, so you got to go out and hunt those resources and stuff. But this adds a frozen effect. I love to have anything that has multiple effects. So frozen 3 converts 50% of damage dealt to ice, which is great if intelligence is higher. But it replaces weapon scaling with intelligence, but at 65% scaling. Our intelligence is not higher, but it does add some frozen damage. Then you have that chain ice basic attack. His trigger on sorry guys, basic attack hits trigger in ice chain that bounces between your close targets. So it will actually kind of bounce this ice around, and I've seen that trigger off a few times, which is pretty cool. So a little intelligence on your character, not going to hurt. Definitely worth having on there. Doesn't take a whole lot. Now, if you end up with a higher intelligence than you do, say, your strength, then you will see different types of weapon scaling coming in as well. This one here, we've added the ignited effect. That's through a gem. If you look here, it's ignited 2, converts 50% of damage dealt to fire. Then, if your intelligence is higher, it replaces weapon scaling with intelligence, but at 55% scaling. Again, we're running strength, which is the main thing on that, so we're still going to get that conversion of there. We don't have to worry about it scaling. It's not going to give us the 55% scaling, unfortunately, but we're still going to get a 50% ignited on there. So let's bring this back up. Sorry, guys. Then, of course, we have Keen, which is going to give a 5.2 critical chance. You may be wondering, how do you get that critical strike? Well, don't just tap your attack button, hold it. Go for those heavy hits. That's where you're going to get those chain effects, such as the frozen. You're going to get those enchanted effects that are going to be, traveling between the enemies. This here has light and heavy attacks, deal an additional 3.7 damage. Once you see that critical chance pop up, just start wearing them out. You can use the heavy attacks or the slow attacks. It's up to you. And you can actually do a heavy hit with a heavier weapon such as the great axe, and then switch over to a smaller weapon that moves a little faster and really rack in some points. Remember, you can switch between your weapons and work those in conjunction with each other. Now, when it comes to cosmetic stuff, I do recommend that you try to keep these up. So this here is 17% Constitution. Again, that's going to give health. It's going to give slash ward of 3, 4% slash damage absorption. Slash protection receives 11% less slash damage. So that's a great one to have because we're going to be in combat pretty close. You can build these or you can just open them up. You get plenty of this stuff running Starstone Burrows, guys. Again, 17 dexterity, so that's a good one to have. Thrust ward 2, thrust damage absorption. There is a thrust on this sword, so I figure, hey, we'll give this a try. And then, of course, we're looking at thrust damage of 4.3%. So, and then, of course, we need to get some earrings still. Craftable at an outfitting station. Not bothered making any yet. You can also get this. It's called a common honing stone. These are everywhere. You just find them laying around. You can buy them in the markets and stuff. It's going to help add some weapon damage, 5% for 30 minutes. So use it once, go out on your questing and stuff, or use it right before you go into questing. I do recommend keeping them. They're cheap. Usually they're free. They're really not hard to find in the world. Just pick that stuff up. Now they have more advanced honing stones. I set those back for later in the game personally. Okay, then you're going to be picking up crafting mods and stuff, but that's kind of what I'm looking at right now on the character. We're currently at level 55. Then, of course, our gathering stuff. We managed to open up this old Hermit Pastime pole. I don't remember where I got it. Found it laying around. And then the Marauder skinning knives and stuff like that. That is found in Marauder faction. I assumed that all the factions are going to have where you can come in and just pick those up. It was the very first tier within the faction you can get those. So you can pick all that stuff up. I'm not bothered looking for any of the musical instruments. I see a lot of people use them. It may be a great way to walk around town playing music, and hopefully people will give you tips. To me, it's a little more annoying. People pop up right when you're trying to really figure something out. So it is what it is. Same thing with your mounts. I switched to the horse. We did the pre-order, which gave us this Azoth mount. The Dire Wolf, I believe it is. Yeah, the Azoth Stalker. And it's cool looking and all. But I got to tell you, man, I got kind of tired of the way it sounded. It sounded lame, and I don't know. It's just feels better to me to use a horse. Now we may end up looking at some other mounts and stuff and adding some different mounts in. I've seen that behemoth bear around. I always thought it was a pig, but apparently that's a bear. And then, of course, there's lions and then, your dire wolves and things like that. But you get a free horse in the game. And then if you pre-ordered, you should have the Azoth mount. You may be wondering, how do I use that? Well, you got to be level 20 to use him, unfortunately. Now, season passes. I think we've covered this. We'll go over it again because there's a few questions. Activity cards, these are things that are, if you look over on the left side of the screen, so you earn free stamps also. If you look over on the left side of the screen, these are the things you need to complete the activity card. All right. Now, I would love to have more specs taken care of. So you've got to do 4 stamps to finish a card. That's going to open up a new card. Think of it as bingo, okay? If you're wondering, what do you mean bingo? Well, the game bingo, you get more points if you could come across. So try to finish it off that way if you can. We could have completed more stamp areas on that other one. And you want to try and get the same ones as well, as far as like the same types of markings. It's rare for it to line up that way, but it could potentially line up for you. We are almost finished in chapter 2, it looks like. So we need to do complete 10 activity cards. That's what I'm working on right now, just getting those completed. So I got to do 3 more. 10 faction control points. Looks like we need to do 5 PvP arena matches. Haven't bothered with that. The elite exerciser, kill 50 elite enemies. Not too hard to do. That's just going up to the higher level areas and stuff. So that'll be pretty nice to get those in there as well. Then of course you've got your challenges here that you can run. The notorious killer, kill 200 named enemies. So we're getting close to having that. But as you complete through that, you're going to be getting through this pass. I think our next one is this exploration chest here. Then we'll be getting this. That's a skin for a mandolin. We don't own a mandolin, so again, they have a few skins in here. Up to you how far you want to progress in this stuff. It's a good way to grind out XP, though. I will give you that. So that's kind of what I'm working on. Just getting through this stuff here. Looks like there's an artifact like headwear when you get here. This is a level 700, which is pretty freaking awesome. For those who are unaware, once you get into epic gearing, you're up in that 700 range. So it'll be pretty cool. You're going to have this magnify highest attribute, which gives strength. Okay, so magnify is a strength attribute. It's going to also give you this desperate energy, which is going to give you a 50% gains and 25% increases in damage as well. A lot of really awesome stuff in there. Can't wait to get up into that part of it. And just continuing on now, it looks like you have 38 days and 16 hours left. So there are some good things in here. I'm also gonna be honest, man. Unless you're running that bottom pass, the premium pass, you're not gonna get as much as far as like your really cool aspects, but you're going to get a few in here. So there's a transmog token. This is where you can go get you a transmog, change the appearance of your character. That's those costumes that you see people run around with, like the pumpkin heads and stuff. Okay, then it looks like we've got another piece of armor. I think this one here is just a skin. Yeah, that one's just a skin. This one here is a fishing pole skin. And like I say, there's a lot of this stuff that's just skins, guys. So you gotta determine whether or not you want to deal with the skins of this stuff. But there are some actual weapons and some great crafting resources in there. So my suggestion to you, when you're building your character, see what it is you want to do. I wanted to have a good gem ability, because that's one of the things where I cannot just craft for myself, but I could craft for you. You can hand me a weapon, I can get it gemmed up, or get you the gems and stuff that you need for your weapons for the team members that we've got here. And we all should have strengths on our characters, natural strengths that we could build off of. But I do recommend that you take the time to go ahead and work on all of your achievements. So our trade skills, so weaponsmithing, we haven't done a lot of that. Armoring, 18, engineering, 5. Like I said, we haven't done a whole lot of that stuff. Jewel crafting, been working on that a little bit. Arcana, just started kind of doing that. Cooking, it's okay. I haven't done much furnishing, building furniture. Smelting, we're getting a little better with it. Woodworking, leatherworking, logging's doing real good. Mining's coming along pretty nicely. Fishing, haven't done much. Music, I'm not bothered. I've gathered up a bunch of music notes and stuff, but I haven't really bothered with the, getting instrument or anything like that. Writing, we're getting there. Tacking and skinning, harvesting, stone cutting, and of course weaving. So, like I said, you've got a long way to go for all this stuff to be completed, but you can get all of this built up. Now, you can buy inside the town. You're going to see an area where you can talk to your Covenant faction folks, and you can go over there and you can get these little books that's going to help you out. You can build those books inside the areas where, like smelting and stuff like that, journeyman, masters, and such, and it's going to help build those up as well. But the best way to do it is just cutting wood, cutting stones, harvesting, going around looking for hemp, so you can do crafting as far as like fibers and stuff like that. So there's a lot of really great resource aspects in it. Take this dude out here. And of course, one of the greatest ways to get your skinning and tracking up is just by hunting. So the more of that you do, the better off you're going to be. And the higher that level is, the more stuff you're going to get. You're no longer just going to only get skins. You're going to get things that can be used for other stuff, such as the arcane stuff. Now, what is arcana? That is different types of items that you can combine to make wards and effects and stuff that you put on your weapons. So you definitely want to add that on there. So as you can see, the sword, it has that frost effect. So you kind of have that nice little frosty look to it. Then, of course, with the axe, you have this nice little fire effect on there. And that comes from those wards and them gems and stuff like that. So, like I say, we are still basic level. We haven't really gotten to an advanced thing. So, we're just kind of learning as we go, guys. But that's kind of what we've got right now. So, I hope this video helps you out. And like I say, again, if you're on the game and you're in our world, you're in our Discord. If you're wondering what world you're in, you watch the video, like, man, I wouldn't mind playing with these guys. They seem like they're pretty cool. Unfortunately, this game is server specific. We are U.S. East Coast, okay? We're United States East. That's the server that we're in. Then it is also world specific. We are in Pangea. And it is a pretty full world most of the time, guys. So you'll have to catch it during the week. Early like today, you should be able to get your character built. At which point, everything should go pretty good for you. So hope you've enjoyed the video. We're going to hop off here.